Hello, YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch. And that scratching sound you hear is Sekhmet the kitten, well, no longer a kitten, playing with her new box. Now, for the record, it's just a cardboard box, but we all, those of us that have had cats for years, we know, give them a cardboard box. If they fit, they sit. In Sekhmet's case, if I can fit, I scratch, whatever. I think it's her way of like imprinting her energy on it. But anyway, so it'll stop in a moment. In the meantime, let me welcome you to the official Llewellyn's 2025 Tarot Calendar April 2025 edition. As some of you know, now the insight spreads and tips are written by Charles Harrington, the new author of the Llewellyn's Tarot Calendars. The Barbara Moore no longer writes the insight spreads and tips. She has the changing of the guard has occurred, and here we are. So, the card that is the focus is the Magician from the Mystic Palette Tarot. Her brother and littermate Apollo has joined her. And now she stopped scratching. Okay, thank you, Apollo. So it is the Magician card from the Mystic Palette Tarot, created by the Ciro Marchetti. I'm going to read the blurb about the Magician card. I'm also going to read about the symbol, and then I'm going to read about the spread. And yes, there is a spread, so I will be casting the cards. Okay, so the Magician from the Mystic Palette Tarot. A master juggler, the magician has learned to keep those mystic implements in the air by giving each of them the exact right amount of his attention and then moving on to the next. I do not recall the word, but I know that in Tarot de Marseille, or the Marseille Tarot, the French term that's used to listed on the Magician card is the French word for juggler. So juggler is an appropriate synonym for the magician. And you know, it's so funny because I have a wonderful client who's become a good friend and is definitely a fellow magical practitioner. And his preferred term is magician. My preferred term is witch. And I've met people, their preferred term is magical practitioner or pagan or druid. And one of my favorite magical authors, Storm Fairy Wolf, prefers the term warlock. But with him, I'm okay with it. And he's actually the second person that I know of that prefers the term warlock. And I know it means oathbreaker, I get that. But if somebody wants to call themselves a warlock, I'm not going to argue with them. And yeah, so the interesting thing is that, as some of you know, the Magician card is astrologically connected to the planet Mercury, which rules Gemini and Virgo. And this individual is neither a Gemini nor a Virgo, but he is definitely a magician. Okay, so the shades, these very steampunkian shades. And there is a card, and I didn't even notice that. There is a Tarot de Marseille style magician card on the brim in front of the magician's hat. I never noticed that before. That's fascinating. Really cool. And yes, for the record, even though Tarot de Marseille is my least favorite imagery style of tarot, I've been finding myself drawn to it more and more. Especially because there is a Rider-Waite Marseille, and there's also a Cat Marseille, which, believe it or not, I still do not have. I know. So the shades. Masks, costumes, and even sunglasses remind us that we present others with a persona of our own making. When they believe in the image we project, we begin to believe it ourselves. Decide who you want to be today. It's the cat comedy hour over there, but I digress. And the interesting thing is, from a Western astrology perspective, the energy we present is known as the ascendant. It's more commonly known as the rising sign. I cannot tell you how many people I've met over the years who thought I was a Leo. My sun sign is Capricorn, but my rising sign is Leo. Fun fact, my rising sign is Leo is the polar opposite of my natal moon sign Aquarius. Do with that what you will. Anyway, so for this So I'm going to talk a little bit about the deck that I'm using. Those of you who've been watching these videos for a while, you know that I prefer using either a Llewellyn deck or a Lo Scarabeo deck. As some of you know, Lo Scarabeo is based in Torino, Turin, Italy, and Llewellyn Publications is the exclusive American and Canadian distributor for Lo Scarabeo decks. So, and it looks like Llewellyn has become the official American and Canadian distributor for Blue Angel Publishing decks as well. The only problem with Blue Angel decks is that there are very, very few tarot decks. I think I have one of the two, which is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, created by V. Raven Phelan. But anyway, so the tarot deck that I'm using was published by Lo Scarabeo. It's called the Witchy Tarot. They changed the name a few years after it was published. Now it's the Teen Witch Tarot. I don't like the name. I have nothing against teenagers. I have nothing against teen witches. I just don't like the name. The Witchy Tarot is fine. It's fine. It doesn't need to be changed. But they didn't consult me. So, here's the thing about this spread. It separates the suits. Major Arcana is the first card, or the first pile in this case. Swords is second. Wands third. Cups fourth. Pentacles fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yes, I am aware that it's almost mirroring the calling of the quarters. Now, Wisdom of the Elements spread. To take a wider view of your situation, ask each of the elements for their advice. Separate your deck into 5 piles, 1 for each suit of the Minor Arcana and the Major Arcana. Shuffle the piles individually and draw 1 card from each pile. I've already separated the cards into their respective suits. Major Arcana, Swords, Wands, Cups, Pentacles. I have shuffled each pile individually, and I cut each pile and I put them back together as I was guided and led. I was also guided and led to turn over the bottommost card. So this time, casting the cards, I will not be doing a final message card or the bottom of the deck like I normally do. Just FYI. Okay, so I call upon the goddesses, gods, guardians, and guides, and all benevolent and assisting spirits to be with me here and now as I cast the cards for the collective. May what the collective needs to know be presented in this casting of the cards. May this information guide us forward to our next step. Amun, Amen, and so mote it be. All right. So this is essentially going to answer the question, what does the collective need to know right now? Card number 1, the Major Arcana, the greater archetype your soul wishes to focus on, and that is, you cannot make this shit up. The High Priestess. How many of you have been neglecting your spiritual practices? How many of you, my fellow magical practitioners, have been neglecting your magical practices? You know, there is a concept of magic every day. There is a concept of acknowledging the magic you are and acknowledging the magic within you and without you every day and utilizing it. And we have learned from such notaries as Morgan, the founder of Inked Goddess Creations, that it does not matter how busy your life is. You can take a minute, at the bare minimum 1 minute, to weave magic into the world, to weave magic into your world, to weave magic into the collective's world. And of course, keep in mind that in the Fool's Journey of the Tarot, the High Priestess card is the first card in the tarot and in the Major Arcana that represents goddess energy. So, which goddess have you been ignoring? Which goddess is like, hello, 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 and you're ignoring that bitch. She's like, hello, I need to talk to you. Let me in. Let me talk to you right now. And she's not going to go away because she wants you to know what she needs to tell you. So please stop ignoring your goddesses. Even if they're not from your primary pantheon, that doesn't mean that your mother goddess didn't send her. Maybe your mother goddess has been like, hey, and you're not paying attention. Oh my, I'm so sorry. Sekhmet got scared. Sekhmet gets scared a lot. I don't know why. One would think being named after a warrioress goddess of the sun in the ancient Egyptian pantheon, she'd be like, I'm a badass bitch. No, she's a little pussycat, but whatever. So who are you ignoring? What practices have you been ignoring? What practices that you're like, I'm just too busy. Life is too overwhelming. Maybe that's why you need to do your magic, bitch. Bitch, witch, bitch. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, card number 2, swords. What are y'all doing? Maybe there's more magic around me than I realize because these cats are like going crazy. And it's just Apollo and Sekhmet, the youngest ones, but you know, they're special cases in their own way. But anyway, let's get back to the collective, shall we, Mr. Alvarez? Yes. Second pile, swords, intellectual advice for formulating clever strategies and for coping with strife. Because, as I'm fond of saying, murder is illegal. Smacking a bitch upside the head is illegal. Giving that dirty-ass bitch a pimp slap is illegal. They will put you in jail if that happens. So, no violence. I know you want to. Because let me tell you something. I've become that bitch. I have become that witch bitch. Don't put a weapon in my hand. Do not put a weapon in my hand. Okay, so, again, swords. Intellectual advice for formulating clever strategies and for coping with strife. In this tarot deck, the Witchy Tarot, illustrated by the Antonella Platano, I have all of her tarot decks. I love her art. I love her graphic novel artistic style. The swords are called broomsticks. So 6 of broomsticks is 6 of swords. Notice this witch is carrying her broom. There are birds in the sky, and there are 7 actually. Actually, there's more than 7. Just FYI. But she's walking across a bridge, which is so appropriate because, you know, the traditional image of the 6 of Swords has 3 people in a boat. The boat is on water. This makes more sense because it is a sky bridge. Sky, air, broomsticks, swords. It makes perfect sense, I say. So it's about continuing to move forward. So what's some of the intellectual advice, the mental realm? Formulating clever strategies for coping with strife. Keep moving forward. Rest, re-examine, reevaluate, formulate, move forward. And also, one of the things that I always love about this card is that this is also saying the universe is not going to let you remain stagnant. The universe is not going to tolerate you remaining stuck. So you need to move. You need to go forward. You need to move forward. You cannot allow yourself to remain stuck. And listen, I am acknowledging the fact that I know people who are clinically diagnosed with depression, with anxiety, with several other mental challenges. I don't want to call them illnesses. I just don't want to. I know that they are illnesses. According to that humongous psychiatric textbook, guidebook, they are considered illnesses. But this is not about succumbing to your illness. This is not about, and of course, I need to mention that I'm not a mental health professional, so I cannot diagnose you, nor would I want to. But what I am saying is that this card is essentially saying the universe is not going to allow you to remain stuck. The universe is not going to allow you to remain frozen, stuck, stagnant. The universe won't allow it. The universe is going to insist you move forward, if for no other reason, to move you from a place of strife to a place of joy, to move you from a place of fear to a place of love and freedom, to move you from a place of poverty or poverty consciousness to a place of prosperity and prosperity consciousness. And then we have the third card, the Wands, energizing advice for seeking passions and reclaiming vitality. Seven of Flames, which is more commonly known as the Seven of Wands. The traditional image of the Seven of Wands is of an individual holding a wand, and he's standing on a high stone, and there are 6 other wands raised up. So it is about... So I look at it this way. 6 of Wands, in this tarot deck, 6 of Flames, is the individual victory. 7 of Flames, 7 of Wands is the collective victory. So this is also about what you can do for your community. You know, as some of you know, I live in the United States. And recently there were these hands-off protests all throughout the country. And these protests were saying hands off Social Security, hands off Medicaid, hands off Medicare, hands off these programs and these services that help people, especially people who do not make a 6-figure salary or people who are not trillionaires and millionaires and billionaires. And one of the posts that I saw on Instagram was, do not feel like a failure because you do not show up at a protest. Do not feel like a failure because you're not at a protest. And the spirits have told me very clearly and very firmly, Robert, do not go to a protest. I want to. I want to be that bitch spearheading Stonewall 2.0, and I found a brick 2 weeks ago. And baby, I'm ready to use that brick. I'm ready. And I'll have to make room in my bag. It's not a small brick. It fits in my hand, but I would need to make room for it because there's a lot of stuff in my bag. But I digress. So it's one of those things. It's like, do what you can for your collective. Do what you can for your community. If that means making donations, great. If that means volunteering, great. If that means writing letters, if that means sending emails, if that means sharing on social media, do what you can do. Do what you feel comfortable doing. Do what you feel safe doing. And trust that that makes a difference, because it does. It absolutely does. Cups. Emotional advice for finding balance and connecting with others involved. Goddess of Cauldrons, more commonly known as the Queen of Cups. Now, one of the things that I love about this tarot deck is not only that the court cards are renamed, but the goddess cards in the court cards correspond to one of the fire festivals or one of the cross-quarter holy days. And if you look, you will see a goddess holding this big bag that is filled with fruits and vegetables. So it is clearly representing the first harvest, Lunasa, which means festival of Luch, the Irish god of the sun. It's also known as Lammas, which means feast of bread, also in Gaelic Irish, or Irish Gaelic. I think they can be used interchangeably, but I know it primarily as Gaelic Irish, but I digress. So, cups, emotional advice for finding balance and connecting with others involved. Gratitude. Be thankful for what you have now. Be thankful for the money you have in your wallet right now. Be thankful for what you have in your bank accounts and the cards that are associated with those accounts, whether it's a debit card, a credit card, a prepaid card, a gift card. Be Be thankful for all of that abundance that you have right now. Be thankful for the food you have. Be thankful for the water you have, especially if it's clean water, and even better if it's filtered water. I would not live any place without having a filter, a water filter in my refrigerator. And also be thankful for the intangible. Be thankful for the love that you have, the appreciation you have, the honor that you've received, the grace that you've received. Be thankful for what you have now. You've probably heard this a bazillion times. You've probably read this just as many bazillion times, if not more. Being thankful for what you have now magnetizes to you what you want more quickly and more powerfully. I promise you, as somebody who used to teach prosperity classes, I know the prospering power of gratitude, which is one of the reasons why I must express gratitude and praise at least 3 times from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep. And then we have Pentacles, grounded advice for manifesting your goals and building lasting solutions. And it is the 8 of Boulders, which is more commonly known as the 8 of Pentacles. Traditionally, this is known as the Apprentice card. And it is the only, in my practice, in my tarot practice, it is the only Pentacles card that for me has nothing to do with money. It has to do with higher education, continued education, and it is also about continuing the journey to learn. I knew instinctively, before I knew the words mentally, intellectually, that being a professional psychic meant that I would always be learning. Being a practitioner of magic and witchcraft meant that I would always be learning. And I love that. I have never had an issue with that. I am absolutely willing to learn. I am always open and receptive to learning. I think that's one of the reasons why when I engage in sacred solitude, I spend the bulk of my time reading books. Because my computer's off, my phone is off, I have no contact with the outside world, I don't leave my apartment. Then again, after COVID-19, being the introvert that I am, I only leave my apartment when absolutely necessary. So, and I know that COVID-19 is no longer a pandemic, but still, it's like, am I leaving this apartment? Am I leaving my home? Why? Do I need to leave my home? Yes. If I don't, I stay home. I'm fine. I have food, I have snacks, I have beverages, I have my decks, I have my books, I have my computer, I got my phone, and I have a beautiful bed that not only is a memory foam mattress, has memory foam pillows, and it has a memory foam wedge that I can use to elevate my legs. Yes, I am that kind of a witch bitch. So, what is it that you need to learn? What is it that you need to relearn? Granted, I am aware that Mercury is no longer retrograding, but we are still in the Mercury post-retrograde period, that post-retrograde shadow period. So I still interact as if Mercury is still retrograding. And let me tell you, the last week or so, there have been incidents that have been happening that have been crazy. Earlier today, I had a therapy appointment, and the facility that the office is a part of, they offer transportation free of charge to the patients. For the first time in the more than a year and a half that I have been using this service, the phone lines were down. And that never happens. Like, seriously, in all the year plus that I've been using this service, I have never had this experience. And the fact that it is occurring during the post-Mercury retrograde period of the first Mercury retrograde of the calendar year 2025 was not a coincidence to me. Not for 1 second. Now, consider how the advice of the minor cards can work together to support the central message. Rather than a jumble of disparate information, see a balanced plan of action that offers a blended approach to addressing the different layers to the situation at the heart of the reading. And it is my pleasure to announce that I finally have appointments scheduled in April. I lost track of how many videos I've done the last few months where it was like, I have no appointments in April. I have appointments in May, but I have none in April. And now I finally have appointments in April. So yeah, it's so funny. So, but I still have some availability. So if you want to schedule your reading, your goddess energy healing treatment, or your magical spell casting session, you know what to do. Email me at thetarotman@bluetiehome.com. It is in my info on my YouTube account on the information page. But Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audio-visual person for my YouTube videos, will also post my email address on the screen for your convenience. Isn't that right, Drake? Drake nodded his head. So, I am most thankful to Llewellyn Publications for continuing to publish a tarot-themed annual. And I have said it before, and I will happily say it again. This is the one and only tarot-themed annual Llewellyn Publications publishes. They have a bazillion Western astrology annuals, they have witchy annuals, they have herbal annuals, they have animal annuals, but this is the one and only tarot-themed annual. And I want to tell you, it makes me happy. Some of you know me as the Tarot Man. So even though I'm less the Tarot Man and more Robert Alvarez, the psychic witch these days, the fact of the matter is that, you know, tarot is always going to be my number one go-to. And on a personal note, it is my personal preference divination tool when somebody's having their very first reading with me, or when somebody is having their very first reading in general. Although the spirits do surprise me, I still remember somebody who'd never had a reading before, and the spirits were like, it's going to be a clairvoyant reading. I'm like, but it's her first. They're like, it's going to be a clairvoyant reading, Robert. But it's going to be a clairvoyant reading, Robert. Yes, sometimes even I'm thick-headed, I know. Hard to believe. Isn't that right, Drake? Drake is saying nothing. He's pretending to whistle. Don't worry, I'll smack him later. I'll smack that whistle. Don't do that, Mister, don't do that. We have fun with each other. But I am so thankful to Llewellyn Publications for continuing to publish a tarot-themed annual. And of course, I'm going to do a little PSA, public service announcement. Remember, this is a great gift for anybody who loves the tarot, anybody who is in lust with the tarot, anybody who wants to learn more about the tarot, anybody who is at whatever level of tarot expertise, whether it's novice, beginner, intermediate, advanced, mastery, whether they could write a tarot book, whether they have written a tarot book, whatever. Also, it has spreads. Grant that half of the calendar has spreads, the other half doesn't. But great information, great articles, great insights. It is the only tarot calendar of its kind. I still remember in several of my videos, I would ask those of you watching in YouTube land, let me know about any other tarot calendars. None of you ever said anything to me, so I'm like, you know what? Let me do some internet searching, and there were two other calendars that I found, and one would only mail to Australia, meaning if you lived outside of Australia, you're not going to get it directly from that place in Australia. And it was basically art. It was beautiful art. But when I did the conversion from Australian dollar to US dollar, it was more than this. And keep in mind, for those of us who live in the United States, this is often on sale. Sometimes it's on sale before, sometimes it's on sale after. And there was another calendar that was like, it's nice, but that was it. It was just very nice art. I think the rate of exchange made it like $21 or $22, excluding shipping and handling, taxes, what have you. So I'm just like, yeah, like seriously, you know. So that's where I'm at with that. And then of course, you know, it's a great gift for anybody who loves the tarot, who's in lust with the tarot, wants to learn. It's a great gift for yourself if you want to, if you fell into any of those categories. And I insist that the more people who buy this calendar, the greater the chances that Llewellyn will continue publishing it. And for the record, the Llewellyn's 2026 tarot calendar will be published in 3 months, in July of 2025. I have not done the pre-order yet, simply because my monies have needed to go elsewhere. But I'm also waiting for that beautiful Llewellyn catalog that has the discount code. So if anybody from Llewellyn Publications is watching, please make sure that I receive my catalog, my beautiful catalog this year, because I love that catalog. And I always do a separate video about it because I'm so excited. I'm so honored when I receive it. Oh, I hope I didn't turn off my microphone. Did I turn off my microphone, Drake? Did I turn off my microphone? You sure? Okay. I'm still getting used to this lapel mic. So, thank you, Llewellyn. Thank you, Charles Harrington, for taking over, writing the insight spreads and tips from the Barbara Moore. Thank you to all of you in YouTube land who have purchased this calendar once, if not more than once, who've given it as gifts, who've raved about it in your own videos. And if you have done videos about Llewellyn's tarot calendars, please put them in the comments. I only found one other YouTuber who did one calendar, 2023 or 2024, and I'm like, oh my goddess, I'm so happy to see somebody else doing videos about this calendar. Please feel free to do more, please, please. And of course, thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, and all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And an extra big and beautiful thank you to those of you who have already scheduled your sessions. And I must especially acknowledge somebody who sent me an audio clip today for her beautiful, kind words, for the beautiful gifts that she gave me the day after, well, actually, she gave them to me the same day. She ordered them the same day. I received them the day after her reading, which was this past Sunday, a phone reading, by the way. And for referring a client to me and treating them to a reading with me, which is going to be this Saturday. So I am beyond honored. I am beyond grateful. I am beyond happy. I am beyond at peace. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, stay in tune with your intuition. Stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated. Alternate your water with your coffee or your tea. And stay tuned for the next video.